Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Later in the show, we'll learn about the 2024 Phoenix Film Festival, April 4th through the 14th, with Program Manager Monty Yazzie. And Susan Levy talks with Noel Octavio Boss, producer and director of The Bears on Pine Ridge, a new feature documentary that will premiere at the Phoenix Film Festival. The Maricopa Community College's ACE Hoop Healthcare program helps first-year high school students taking math or science courses and interested in a healthcare career complete up to 50 college credit towards a healthcare degree while still in high school. On the phone to tell us more are Seisha Napa, Interim Director of Early Outreach at Glendale Community College, and Demetria Shepard, Hoop of Learning and Junior ACE Program Coordinator at Scottsdale Community College. Hello, Seisha and Demetria. It's an honor to have you both on our show today.
Yeah, same. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, we appreciate the time to be here.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves? We can start off with Demetria.
Yes, so my name is Demetria Shepard. I am recently new to Scottsdale Community College. However, I have an extensive background working with early college students. I coordinate the programs here for our Hoop of Learning and Junior ACE programs, which is specifically for our American Indian students who are interested of earning college credit, in addition to that of like the college experience. In fact, also I am a first generation and an alumna of the Hoop of Learning program. So I've been in college since I was 15 years old, so I understand the feeling when it comes to students joining college. In addition to my background as an Indigenous female, I come from the Navajo Nation. I'm from Rock Point, Arizona. I reside here today in Phoenix, Arizona. So that's just a little bit about me.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Demetria. It's so amazing to hear that you were a part of the program and now kind of correlating the program for other students as well. It's a pleasure to have you today. And Seisha?
Yeah, I'm also Navajo first-generation college student. When I was in high school, I participated and completed the ACE program at Southmount Community College. I later earned my associate degree at Phoenix College and then my bachelor from ASU. And now I'm currently a graduate student at ASU Sandra Day Connor College of Law. Like you mentioned, I'm the interim director for ACE and Hoop of Learning at Glendale Community College. And this is one of my passions. I tell everyone this is the best job I've ever had. I get to scholarship students that are exactly like me, and I get to demystify the high school to college process, because everybody tells you you should go to college, but nobody necessarily tells you how to actually do that. One of the other things too is that, creating a pipeline from high school to community college, that's one of my passions as well. I currently serve as the Phoenix Union High School District Governing Board President. That's actually one of my goals, is to increase the accessibility of community college to our Phoenix Union High School students. And I'm also the first Native person elected to serve on the PSU Governing Board in its 129-year history.
Thank you for sharing that, Seisha. I bet both roles are very rewarding for the both of you, helping students prepare for college and also giving them all the resources available to help prep them. So to kind of begin, can you tell us about the Maricopa Community College's program for American Indian high school students?
Yeah, first we have our Maricopa Hoop of Learning program. This is our standard program that's available to all Native high school students. Students do need to be enrolled in a federally recognized or state-recognized tribe and be able to provide proof of enrollment. And for most campuses, students can enter in any time that they're in high school, earning up to 12 credit hours per academic year. And then we have this new pilot program, the ACE Hoop Healthcare Program, and this one is specifically for high school freshmen. You don't necessarily have to be Native to participate or apply, but you do need to be a freshman interested in the healthcare field.
Could incoming high school freshmen be eligible?
Unfortunately, no. You have to be a current freshman. this semester in order to apply. Accepted students would start this coming summer, the summer before their sophomore year.
So can you tell us about the new ACE Hoop healthcare program?
This is a program for high school freshmen interested in a career in healthcare. Again, you have to be a current high school freshman who is enrolled in a master's science course. And when Maricopa Early College did research to what degrees and careers our ACE and Hoop students went into, nursing and healthcare were at the forefront. In this program, students will earn up to 50 college credits while in high school, and they'll only be 10 credits away from a Maricopa associate degree in healthcare.
And who is eligible?
So this program, specifically in the ACE and Hoop healthcare program, we're seeking current high school freshmen who are currently in this academic year of 2023-2024, specifically for students that are currently enrolled in a math and a science course at the same time. The reason why is because part of the application, some of those students are currently taking those courses to get an idea if they are actually they're meeting the application requirements, because those are one of the eligibility when applying for the program. Part of the criteria for students to apply is that if they're first gen, meaning if they're a first generation of their family to attend college, or they're living in a single home parent household, and it also including a member of an underrepresented group. This includes all Indigenous students. If they are part of a federally recognized or state recognized tribe, they are eligible for this program. And additionally, we do have students who are eligible who are experiencing economic hardship, because we mentioned that this is a scholarship program. So if they are in need of financial funds for classes to be covered, scholarship is available at our college campuses. And then also who have environmental factors, who are students that are working 10 to 30 hours per week while attending high schools, living in foster care or temporary housing, or is a teen parent. So it's pretty diverse when it comes to eligibility for the ACE and Hoop healthcare program. But generally, we are looking at our current high school freshman students.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And it sounds like you guys all have a lot of other resources there. As you mentioned, scholarships as well to help with financial funding for students to attend these programs as well. So, Demetria, can you tell us what is planned and how will students benefit from attending the program?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, it is a scholarship-funded program within our 5 colleges. So Maricopa Community Colleges, we have our Glendale, Gateway, Phoenix, Scottsdale, South Mountain Community College. Each of those college campus is built into having this program, which benefits from students to using tutoring services, a career exploration, healthcare summer conference for students, specifically for them to come to a college campus for a conference to network, connect with our faculty and staff. And then most importantly, just having a pathway, building a gateway access to students to fall into our Maricopa healthcare programs, which we embed these specific classes in need of fall into where students want to probably study into nursing, dental, and then there are varieties of different healthcares, but the pathway of this is just to be selective in the general areas. We're not just to get a head start in early college, and also students could be 10 credits away from earning their associate's degree in a Maricopa college. And like I mentioned earlier too, within the services, students are also getting the guidance. With meeting with a program coordinator from the 5 community colleges, they can get the help on what classes to select, academic advisement, and support during the duration of the time of the program.
What can ACE Hoop healthcare students expect?
expectation when it comes to students generally is just to get familiar with the college experience, because I know when I started college, I generally didn't know who to meet or to talk to, but generally this is a good way for students to start getting that college exposure of what is available to them and the opportunity that they're taking today. Because if we have the funding to help our students, especially for our Indigenous students, we want to enhance that ability for students to have these scholarships and have these programs available to them at an early head start. So like I've mentioned earlier, with classes, academic advisement and support during the time of their program progress, it allows them to seek more opportunities outside when they're exploring more college career exploration when it comes to partners, universities, or external organizations, just to get that network and also to connect with new students who are participating in the HOOP and ACE program.
So I think one thing is that both ACE and HOOP of Learning, it's not exclusively about the college credits that are earned. Really what we're doing is training students how to be successful college students, right? So it's not just in the classroom, the academic rigor, but it's, how to be a college student and all the soft skills that nobody tells you that you need. So like, how do you actually, manage your time? How do you talk to faculty? How do you do an advising appointment or connect and talk with your advisor? All of that academic support is built in, especially to create a successful college student, because the ultimate goal is degree attainment. We want all of our students to enroll in a college or university after high school graduation and get their associate, their bachelor degree, or even their graduate PhD, whatever it is that they want to earn.
And how can someone apply to the program?
So students and if their parents are out there are interested in learning more of our healthcare program, we advise them to go to our Maricopa ACE and HOOP healthcare website. They will go to maricopa.edu and search HOOP healthcare. They will find a interest form to fill out online, and they can select one of the 5 Maricopa Community College campuses, either that is Gateway, Glendale, Phoenix, Scottsdale, or South Mountain Community College. In addition to that, we do have paper application available to students at the college campuses. We do recommend that students fill out a interest form so that they can have their information sent to us, so it's easy for us to reconnect with them, and then also we can follow up with them via email application. Or if they are interested, they can come by our college campus and set up a time to welcome students to our college campus and meet with them in person. But generally, yes, we do have applications in person.
And when is the deadline?
The deadline for the ACE HOOP Healthcare program is April 5th, so coming up in a few weeks. And applications can be submitted either by email, so students can scan their paper application and email it to the campus, or they can stop by the ACE or HOOP of Learning department and drop off their paper application here on campus.
And finally, how can our listeners find more information about the Maricopa Community College's HOOP of Learning program, and who can they contact for further questions?
Anyone that wants to reach out to us directly, they can go straight to our Maricopa website. That is maricopa.edu, maricopa.edu. And there is like a search that you can look up, which you can search HOOP Healthcare, and then the program website will show up. Or students and families can reach out to us via email. We do have a program coordinator who oversees the 5 community colleges in Maricopa. Her name is Cassandra Moya. Her email is cassandra.moya@dumail.maricopa.edu. If you need me to say that, it's Cassandra, Cassandra CassandraMoya@domail.maricopa.edu. CassandraMoya@domail.maricopa.edu.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank the both of you, Seisha and Demetria, for coming on today to tell us more about the many different resources that Maricopa Community Colleges has to offer, and also giving us an insight about the Hoop of Learning program.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, I appreciate the time, and thank you, Lanasha, for letting us express about this wonderful program opportunity to high school students.
Coming up, we'll learn about the 2024 Phoenix Film Festival with Monty Yazzie. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix: 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. The Phoenix Film Festival celebrates feature films, documentary, short films, and their creators, and will be held April 4th through the 14th and take place in Phoenix. In the studio with us is Monty Yazzie, Program Manager for the Phoenix Film Festival and a Festival Director for the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. Hello, Monty, and welcome to our show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I'm a big fan of the show.
Oh, yes, definitely. And before we get started, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
You got it. I sure can. I am a Arizona native, born and raised here in Phoenix, Arizona. I am Apache and Navajo. Mm-hmm. My mom is from the Bailes community, Bailes, Arizona, and my dad is from Kayenta, Arizona. I grew up in Arizona, in Phoenix specifically, and spent summers back with my grandparents and spent a lot of time in the community learning traditional ways and kind of growing up with a good understanding of where I came from, but also living here in the city. So I often tell people that, you know, being a city native is a difficult task sometimes, but it is something that provided me with some wonderful opportunities throughout my life. I went to school, graduate of Arizona State University and a graduate of Northern Arizona University. I tell people my day job is in public health and my hobby and passion is in film and media studies. I have worked in film and media here in Arizona now for well over 10 years, making short films, documentaries, commercial production work. I've worked with the Film Festival now for almost 9 years and have been a guest of the Film Festival. The first year they ever had it, I was sitting in the audience. Oh, wow. And I have worked myself into this position over the last few years. And I tell people growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, Christown Mall and Metro Center Mall. The two movie theaters there were my home movie theaters. So almost every Friday or Saturday, you could see me there watching whatever came out new. And I'm a cinema-obsessed native here in Arizona that lives and breathes movies when I'm not doing anything else.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Monty. And tell us about the Phoenix Film Festival.
So the Phoenix Film Festival started in 2000. It started as a small little event to kind of showcase Arizona films from filmmakers here in the community and help to get some eyes on these movies that were being made here in Arizona. And over time, it's grown and grown and grown. We're approaching 25 years now that we've been doing this, and the festival has grown in capacity. We do all of our movie and our film festival out of Scottsdale Harkins Theaters on the 101 freeway, right off the 101 freeway. And we've been living there now for quite a few years and have a wonderful event. The Phoenix Film Festival is amazing, and what I love most about it is it's an opportunity to kind of connect with other like-minded movie people, and that's how I started. Was when I first started going there, someone told me, he goes, "Hey, Monty, you were at the movies a lot. Did you know there's a movie film festival?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I said, no way." So they invited me out to come out, and I remember that was it. I was in my first film festival. I bought a pass that got me 4 movies. I watched 4 movies, and I was like, I got to get another pass that buys me 4 more movies. And before you knew it, I was there quite a lot. And it wasn't until about the late 2000 or 2010, 2011 that I started to think, well, maybe I want to work for a film festival. Maybe I want to do some work there. So it's been a true blessing to be able to work in movies and help kind of get some attention on Arizona films and continue to develop these programs so that we can showcase not only Arizona films, but Native American films and indigenous films from across the United States.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. And what type of films will be shown?
We have every kind of film for every kind of movie taste. So we have everything from competition films from filmmakers who are submitting their movies to kind of be shown sometimes for the very first time. We have movies in drama, comedy, scary movies. We have sci-fi films. Our program is pretty vast. So we have a full-length festival that has Arizona-focused films. We have films that are international, from all across the globe, all across the world. We have community spotlight films that showcase African American, Asian American, Native American, LGBTQ plus films that we have. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get a lot of attention on these different groups and connect them to the culture and the traditions and the livelihood that many of these filmmakers are living, because the Native experience is vastly different than the African American experience. And having movies that are authored by people specific to those cultures helps to get awareness, helps to help us write our own story, helps us to take back our history and make true progress in terms of what we're trying to do in making sure that the history moving forward is written by people who are living that experience. I always still tell people that my love for movies kind of exists in horror and sci-fi. So I'm a huge horror sci-fi fan, and thus the festival director for the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival, which all plays at the same time as the Phoenix Film Festival. So there's no 2 separate festivals. They happen at the same time. So our International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival happens in the evenings at the film festival, and I always tell people anything after 7 o'clock is probably going to be a horror sci-fi film.
Oh, yes. And it sounds like you guys are going to have a mass variety of different films, as you mentioned. How many films do you think will be shown at the festival?
I think our final number, including short films, I think we're well over 1,000 films that we end up playing. Yeah, it's quite a bit. And, with all of the different programs we have short films anywhere between 8 to 15 in each section, and we have program A's and program B's, and all of these different categories that we work into as well too. So you count all our short films, you count all of our feature films, you end up having a wealth of opportunity and a wealth of selection to choose from.
Yes. And do you have any other events during the festival? So
part of our film festival, because we are a nonprofit organization, we do a lot of education. And I tell a lot of families, if you have kiddos that are interested in movies or love going to the movies, we have a Kids Day, April 5th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And our Kids Day is an opportunity to kind of bring the family together so that they can see, what kind of goes into making a movie. And they can do green screen photography, and they can do some opportunities to kind of engage with like different movie props and movie costumes and production pieces, and just a fun way to kind of see the behind the scenes process. And we have a lot of wonderful advocates from across Arizona that come in to do that. We also have an industry night for filmmakers who are local here in Arizona. Our industry night is on Saturday, April 6th, and our industry night is a wonderful evening that is filled with opportunities to engage the Arizona filmmaking community, to come out and get those resources, find those opportunities to connect with people and connect with other like-minded people and help those production pieces kind of. I always tell people it's interesting because sometimes at our industry night, we'll get filmmakers who'll come back the next year and say like, hey, we all met at industry night. Now we made a movie and now we're in the festival. So it's a cool opportunity to have that opportunity to engage with people there.
Have you written or directed any films?
So I have worked in film and media production for a long time. I've done a lot of short films. I've done a lot of documentaries. I've done a lot of music videos. But I am very proud because in 2022, I was a producer for my first feature film. So I finished in 2022. We shot the whole thing in Los Angeles, California, over 30 days. And the film was both the most challenging part of my entire life, but also the most fulfilling time of my life as well too. And the film is called The Dead Thing, and it's a horror film, not a surprise considering what I do at the film festival. But it's a story about a young girl who's kind of lost herself in Los Angeles, and she meets somebody, and that someone turns in to be somebody that she didn't expect. But it's definitely a commentary on the loneliness we kind of all felt during COVID, that idea of trying to find that person in life that kind of gets the best out of you, and how sometimes that isn't always the best thing for you. But there's a lot of different themes that we tied into that film, and I'm very proud of it. I'm excited. We're hoping to get it into some film festivals in the next coming year. So hopefully before the end of this year, there'll be some audiences that will have their eyes on it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And how long did it take to write and produce the film?
So we started writing this in 2019. And 2020 was when we were going to start film production. And then something happened and it shut down everything. So we had to kind of close up shop on our film, and we started to continue to look for investors. Everything was self-financed. So we had to find investors to fund our film, and small budget, a lot of passionate filmmakers that are involved in this film. And we ended up getting the green light to go in 2021 and decided that, it's time to start getting some eyeballs on when we can actually make this come to life. So in 2022, we filmed the entire film, and it took about 28 days. We shot it in Los Angeles and way out in the desert in California as well too. And it was a really, really eye-opening experience because I have always worked in small short films, small little productions, nothing that really lasted more than 5 days. So when you do a feature film, there is a lot of moving parts. You're working with, and as a producer, you're working with finances, you're working with creatives, you're working with contracts, you're working with agencies that are in charge of making sure everything's done right, with insurance companies. There's a wealth of things that you have to keep kind of track of when you're doing a major production. And it was so much fun. At the same time, very, very hard. I remember leaving the last day of production in the middle of the desert, still covered in dirt because we had a very long night, and driving home back to Phoenix the next morning, and a friend of mine and I were driving back, and I remember thinking, man, I don't think I'll ever do this again. This is too hard. And then by the time I got to Phoenix, I took a shower, took a little nap, and got up, and I was like, I can't wait to do that again.
So what advice would you give to the youth or just anybody in general who is interested in maybe going into a career in film or that is just interested in film?
You know, there is that easy comment to say, just chase your dreams, right? Chase your dreams. I always tell people now, though, you know, there's nothing wrong with chasing your dreams, but there's nothing wrong also with looking at the different opportunities within a film production. Everybody wants to be an actor, everybody wants to be a director, but there's a lot of room for people to do other things on movies. Being a producer, being somebody who works in lighting or in grip work, or being somebody who's in charge of being a personal assistant. Like those are roles that are vital to the development of film production. And when I think about the film that I did, there is no way that myself or the director or any of the actors could have done this all by ourselves. That it takes a team of people to come together and really help push that film forward, and it takes a lot of influence from those people. So I always tell young people, you know, like if you have dreams of being a director, maybe like you have to chase that dream a little bit, you know, but while you're chasing that dream, go learn what a grip does, go learn what a lighting guy does, go learn what the gaffers do, go learn what it means to be a production assistant, go learn what it means to work with actors, and, you know, be those other roles, and, you know, put that dream of being a director, like not on the back burner, but like you're still chasing it, but like still do these other pieces. Because as you learn all of these different elements, it allows you the opportunity to like have a say in a film. And, you know, for those young people out there, chase those dreams. Never ever stop chasing those dreams. But at the same time, take some time to learn some other skills while you're doing it.
And Monty, can you remind us again, when is the Phoenix Film Festival and where is it and where can they go for more information?
The Phoenix Film Festival is at Harkins Scottsdale 101 Theaters, which is off of Mayo and Scottsdale Road. It is in Phoenix, even though it feels like it's way out in Scottsdale. But it's a Harkins Theater out there. Everything takes place there. Ticketing is there. All the movies are there. We close off one entire side of the theater that is now kind of purposed for the film festival. So you don't have to drive anywhere. You just drive to that one location and you can see all the movies while you're there. Tickets and information about all the events and all the movies and everything that we'll have available during the whole week will be available at phoenixfilmfestival.com. It's the best place to go for tickets. You can buy tickets there. You can create your whole schedule of movies that you want to watch there. You can find out, you know, first information on what filmmakers might be there, what opportunities might be there for events. I always tell people it's not always about movies. We also have a film prom where we have a fun little get together. We have an opening night event that features food and has our opening night film, which is a film called Sing Sing with actor Coleman Domingo is the lead star in that film. A lot of these movies you're not gonna see soon. A lot of them, they're early access movies, so films that you might not see for a few months, maybe even a year up to that point. But it is a cool opportunity to see these movies firsthand, and you know there is unexpected guests that we have. So sometimes a filmmaker will show up. I know for our Native American shorts film and our feature films, we have every director and every the film is represented by somebody within that film. So it's a cool opportunity to go watch our Native Shorts section and then talk to the filmmakers. And afterwards you get a Q&A where you get to ask them about how they did it. And you get to have kind of what we're having right here. And they're super talented filmmakers, and they all are so eager to talk a little bit about their movies. But PhoenixFilmFestival.com is the best place to go for information. We're out Scottsdale, Harkins 101, and we are April 4th through the 14th. And we have a lot of fun out there, and it's a great opportunity to find your new favorite movie. I tell people that all the time.
Perfect. Well, I would like to thank you, Monty, for coming in today to tell us more about the Phoenix Film Festival and all of the great things that are going to be happening.
Thank you so much. I am grateful for the opportunity and excited to continue listening to you guys moving forward.
Up next, Susan Levy talks with Noel Octavio Boss, producer and director of the documentary The Bears on Pine Ridge. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Noel Octavia Boss, and he's the producer and director of The Bears on Pine Ridge. This is a new documentary spotlighting the ongoing youth mental health crisis within our Native reservations. The film focuses on the vital community-based efforts within the Pine Ridge Reservation, where residents have taken matters into their own hands, creating their own suicide prevention programs. And the film is going to premiere in Arizona at the 2024 Phoenix Film Fest in April. Hello, Noel, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Super excited. I did watch the film, or I watched the previews, the trailers, and it was really, really interesting, empowering, and very insightful. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I come from a small town in Southern California, a lot of nature, a lot of land, and then moved to Los Angeles, which was the opposite of that, and turned toward photography. So I was a photographer for 15 years, picked up from there, picked up a little RV, and started traveling across the country, mostly the Western and Midwestern states, and spent some time living in the Pine Ridge Reservation, and spent several years documenting the situation there in the Pine Ridge Reservation.
So tell us a little bit about the film, The Bears on Pine Ridge. What's it about and all of that?
The film centers on the suicide state of emergency crisis that was happening on the reservation starting in 2015. Within the Native American community, there's a mental health crisis happening, especially on these isolated communities on the reservations where there's not a lot of access. And so the film spends time with the leaders in suicide prevention there in Pine Ridge from 2015 through 2021, 2022 is when we stopped filming. And really you can look at it as a collaboration sort of with the lead suicide prevention specialist there. And, you know, what we wanted to do is really spotlight not only the crisis, what's going on, but also the healthcare issues, the mental health care limitations that are happening within the community, and the reasons why a lot of the youth are having trouble, you know, getting help or recovering from mental health issues. The film really kind of dives into hope, and, you know, there's a lot of like inspiring, amazing individuals in the film, particularly the lead subject. Her name is Tiny DeCory. She's an elder on Pine Ridge. And she's been working with the youth for over like 30 years, and she jumped into suicide prevention. A lot of the residents formed this suicide prevention unit, and she created a really cool, awesome youth group with suicide survivors. And so the film goes into a little bit of this kind of group of kids who all kind of come together as like this, you know, sort of like a healing group. And one of the ways they heal is by throwing performances. And so they'll go out into the community and do these skits to music to bring awareness about suicide. And so they kind of band together and they create their own like little family. And so the film goes into that a little bit. So as much as it's, you know, a real hard look at the lack of mental health services coming from government funding, a real hard look into the impact of suicide in the community, especially during these state of emergencies. It's also a look at like what the community-led, these resident-led kind of prevention organizations are doing to help.
When you were talking about that they were going out and doing skits, is that where the name The Bears on Pine Ridge came from, or is that something different? Where did the name come from?
Yeah, so the bears, kind of like a play on words a little bit. So bear in Lakota is mato, and the bear represents good medicine, and it's a source of healing. Tiny formed this group called the Bear Program, and it's also an acronym that stands for Be Excited About Reading. And so she formed this group back about 15 years ago, maybe longer, about 20 years ago. And she discovered that the community, a lot of the youth who were struggling with mental health issues or suicide ideations were dropouts from high school. And then she did further research, and they found out that, up to 70% of the students weren't getting proper education into to being able to read properly. So they were just basically having problems with literacy. And so she formed this group, Be Excited About Reading. They started performing these little skits in animal costumes or whatever they could find. I think one of the costumes was like a cheese head from the Green Bay Packers. So whatever they could find to put on these kids to go out there, and they would dance around and sort of get kids having a good time and inspired to read. And they do these little skits about reading. But what happened is, as the mental health situation was progressing and suicides were just becoming rampant, the entire community was just in total fear and shock, and nobody knew what to do. There wasn't a history of discussing depression and suicide and all these things. And so Tiny, being like this really vocal, outgoing individual in the community, decided to morph the Bear Program, which was already integrated into schools and kind of within the community. She started highlighting some real issues like domestic issues and drugs and alcohol, and then especially suicide. So we call it the Bears on Pine Ridge as the title, sort of like, obviously because of the program, but also because of what the bear represents, right? We're following individuals that are bringing medicine to the community. They're bringing healing and hope, and and sort of just like these really inspirational characters.
Do you think that Pine Ridge is indicative of the suicide epidemic in Indian country, or do you think it's an anomaly up there?
No, it's very much indicative. I think that when you talk to everyone in Pine Ridge, they have relatives in other reservations or off the reservation. You have a high rate of suicide attempts and mental health issues that are happening just off the reservation in a community called Rapid City, which is about 90 minutes off the reservation. So you have a lot of Native American individuals that are from Pine Ridge, maybe move out there, form families, but there's could be struggling in that area. I think to speak kind of like about other reservations, from what I've heard and what the statistics show, is that this is a very widespread problem, and mostly we're seeing it on like isolated reservations. You see it in Montana, Arizona, New Mexico, and in fact, in First Nations in Canada. A lot of these tribes are declaring state of emergencies for suicide. So it's not just Pine Ridge. What's unique about Pine Ridge is obviously it's one of the largest communities or reservations, and they've been perhaps the most outspoken, if we want to say that, about bringing awareness to it. These discussions around it, and they were trying to get more information. And one of the big problems, and this is something that's important for a lot of people to know, is that this isn't a Native American issue. Obviously, suicide is not part of the history. This is not something that is indicative to Pine Ridge or to the Native culture in any way. Okay, so this is something that is the fault of systematic failure. And basically what's happening is This issue is well known. It's documented. The federal government knows about it. The state governments know about it. The communities want to talk about it. They're declaring state of emergencies, and they want resources. And what's not happening is the action coming from the government. So basically what you have is most of these communities have hospitals that are federally funded, run by the government, and they're so depleted of resources overall. So we're talking emergency room, we're talking, all the departments, and then the mental health department, the behavioral health departments are pretty much the last to get any attention. And so who suffers from that is a lot of these youth who are looking for help. They're not getting the help they need in the communities. What are we at now, like 15 years later? And those resources still aren't there. So the real issue here is, and what we highlight in the film, and we don't go into great depths with information because it's very hard to get. It's very hard to get these interviews with federal employees and congressmen and anyone who has any kind of hand in it or stake in it. Is that these failures to provide resources ultimately leads the community to bear the weight of the responsibility. And so in this film, we're showing the Pine Ridge community, these resident-led organizations that, these are people that didn't go to medical school, they're not doctors, they're not psychologists. They're people that are just saying, hey, we need to do something. And so they form their own organization, some of them through grants, and then some are just self-funded, and they find a way to use the community as a resource to try and stop suicide. But yeah, and, whether people go to watch the film or not, I think the one thing that should be talked about when everybody's talking about this issue is that the resources are not there when they should be. So you can look at this problem as a personal problem between this person or this family or this community or whatever, and you can look at the many reasons why, but on that list needs to be the fact that what is owed to these youth and to these communities are resources to handle this correctly. And they're well known and they're being neglected. And that's a huge issue. But again, all of that gets buried underneath a mountain of topics and a mountain of negligence for, with these hospitals.
I know this film is going to be at the Phoenix Film Festival. That's in April, correct?
Yeah, so the film will play April 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Phoenix Film Festival.
Is this documentary going to be aired on PBS?
The documentary will also be aired on PBS through the World Channel, and that date's getting pushed back a little bit because of admin reasons. So it could be in as late as July, so this summer, that'll air. And then we're still not certain if it's going to be national or regional or any of those things. So it's all still in the works, but yes, it's going to be on public broadcasting. The documentary itself is partnered with the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, so it'll be an educational resource that educators can use. Basically, you can use it for their classrooms or events or those kind of things. So it'll be an educational resource.
How can our listeners find out more information about the Bears on Pine Ridge, if it's on the website or where they can see it besides the Phoenix Film Festival, and then how can they contact you?
We'd love to see everyone come to the Phoenix Film Festival to watch the film. Some of the lead subjects in the film will be there coming down from Pine Ridge to talk to people. So if this is an issue that's close to home to you or something that interests you, please come down. It's going to be a very personal, intimate situation where we want discussion to happen. And, because that's what we need. We want a lot of also young people, college students, or anyone interested to come down and get invested in it. It's something where you can really make an impact. And we need to be having this conversation in order for any of the politics or policies to actually have momentum to change. If you want to learn more about the film and the project, please go to our Facebook page where you can contact us directly through there. And that's facebook.com/Pine Ridge Documentary, or you can go to our website, which is pineridgedocumentary.com.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to us. And Noel, I wish you the best luck with the Phoenix Film Festival, and great job. Congratulations,
nice.
And best of luck at the film festival.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.